Mistake them for the truth. The real danger is that if we hear enough lies, then we no longer recognize the truth at all.
Why would I have anything to say to you? All you do is wrong.
What else is left but to abandon even the hope of truth and content ourselves instead with stories?
It's the role of good journalism to take on powerful abuses. And when powerful abuses are taken on, there is always a back reaction.
Take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans. Right. You're saying that's not gain of function?
That is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly. And I want to say that officially.
When you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
Is the reality of goodness, not the perception of it. And what I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil. Fuck them. Okay?
Welcome back, Habbening Bros. It's Thursday night. You know what time that is. You know what it means. It's time for another Habbening TV. I hope everybody is well. Don't have any, impressions for you tonight. I'm about to take a vacation. Oh, it's going to be delightful. Gonna have like a couple of weeks not doing any streaming. Man, the burnout is real. But that's okay. I'm here for one last episode, and then I'll be off for a couple of weeks. I'll also be doing Gulag Cafe tonight with Yiz. We have, what have we got? The International Rules-Based Order and all of that kind of stuff. So I hope everyone is well. And, I hope you guys can do without me for 2 weeks. Knowing sort of like the way sort of the winds of fate my 2-week sort of holiday will probably result in some kind of, crazy event happening, right? Like, I don't know, war will break out or, something like horrible like that. It should be fine though, bros. It should be fine. Tonight we have, well, the EU, after saying war were declared, I mean, not, properly, obviously. No one declares war anymore. How 20th century of you, right? You just do the war and don't declare it, and then you don't have to deal with any of the legal ramifications of those pesky treaties. Geneva Convention. Geneva what? I've never heard of such a thing. We're not at war, right? We're just, building up our defenses. Yes, the EU has decided to basically get 800 billion towards a new war chest to basically rearm Europe. Now, World War II bros would be like, or World War I bros be like, is this really a good idea? Well, the Americans are out, so the Europeans have to do it. They've got no choice. At the same time, of course, the retardation in the Eurozone continues to gather apace when it comes to Ukraine. I got a few clips of just, it's all the same stuff. My World War II, everybody's Churchill. My opponent is always Hitler. We cannot appease. We must destroy everything, like, the economy in order to go to war with Russia over Ukraine. Because why? I mean, look, just shut up, right? Questioning things is racist, and, you're probably like a Hitler or a Russian, sympathizer or something. Just shut the fuck up, right? This has resulted, of course, in like massive spikes in bond yields. Of course, because everyone's like, wait, the EU wants to borrow how much money? And they are obviously going to borrow it. So yeah, there's that. Secondly, the UK Sentencing Council has announced that, there's new anti-white rules coming out, right? Are you a man? Are you white? Are you not a member of any visible or religious minorities? Well, then you too are more likely to get sent to jail. Why, you might say? Well, someone looked at the jail figures and noticed that there are quite a lot of minorities in jail for no reason, of course. Systemic racism, obviously. So the scales has to be adjusted. The numbers have to be jiggled, and these new sentencing guidelines are going to go a long way towards doing that. And it's not two-tier anything. I just want to make that perfectly clear. It's just a redress for historical injustices, bros, right? And our third story, this is a weird one, is not getting a lot of press. The US might wind up buying Nordstream B. Yes, not both of the Nord Stream pipelines were destroyed in the American-led bombing back, God, how long ago was that? Anyway, one of them's still perfectly fine, but the company attached to it is basically gone bankrupt. Surprise, surprise, because they're all under sanctions and they can't do anything. And so they're going bankrupt. There might be a bankruptcy sale, and the US is like, that sounds like a great deal, right? We just be able to sit in the middle, take the gas from the Russians, and then, sell it to the Europeans because you can't sanction the Americans. So they'll just get a fat load of money for basically doing nothing, which is, of course, a ludicrous situation. But it's not like the EU is going to reverse any of the sanctions on Russia anytime soon. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Anyway, let's have a quick hello to everybody in the chat. It's Quiet Night on Rumble tonight. It's Quiet Night on Rumble. Thank you so much to the regulars for coming. We got Sadie Sapiente, Mikey Bikey, Fox39 Forever, Teabagging Therapist, Livia Drusilla, Yiz the Eunuch, of course. Great to see you, Yiz. Anybody else? Oh, it is a quiet one. It's a very quiet one on Rumble tonight. On YouTube, we've got Streaky Bacon, Evil Author 1776, Simon JJ, Otto Stormheart, Javol, Streaky Bacon, Budgie Burger, Robert Verlinden. I think that's everybody. And on Odyssey, we have Evola81 and Machine for Baked Beans. Thank you so much for coming, guys. Good to see you all. Right, I'm gonna try and make this a sort of shorter episode. I've got the vacation thing coming up on me. I'm like, I need to relax. Anyway, today's meme. Sure wish I had some bread. Bread falls from the sky. I sure wish I had a lot less gun laws. Anyone? No, unfortunately, more liberal gun laws are much harder to get than bread. Shame. I'm sure wishing can't hurt, though. Everybody just wish very, very hard. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so we start off. We got secondary meme for you here tonight. Inside every European, there are two wolves. One trash talks about America daily. One begs America for military intervention and foreign aid. Yeah, this is pretty much how it's going, right? The US has basically decided to cut off Ukraine. They have cut off military assistance. It's under review, right? Which is a classic Trump trick that everyone is sort of recognizing now. They're like, Trump's like, well, there's a lot of fraud, there's a lot of waste and abuse. We need to pause the funding and just, have a look. And of course, this pause, while not technically a cancellation, is basically as good as. Ukraine, of course, has acted with defiance and anger. How dare you cut off our gibs, Tsar? We were assured that those gibs were never-ending until we push the Russians out of eastern Ukraine and draw the world into World War III. That was the deal, probably, right? The decision amounted to a betrayal by an ally and would help Russia to bomb and kill more civilians. Well, yeah, possibly. It'll definitely help them to kill more soldiers. Deliveries of ammunition and vehicles have ceased, including shipments agreed to when Joe Biden was president. Some Ukrainians have said the biggest impact was likely to be on Ukraine's ability to defend itself from Russian air attacks, which have escalated in recent weeks. Ukrainian journalists and commentators noted bitterly that Trump had so far demanded no concessions from Vladimir Putin. The White House's latest punitive move against Ukraine would lead to joy in Moscow. Now, what concessions exactly could Trump demand from Putin? They've already sanctioned everything in Russia, basically, right? It's not like they can, they haven't lifted the sanctions on Russia or anything like that. They have re-enabled diplomatic relations, which are, sort of like essential between two large nuclear-armed superpowers. Ukrainian security expert posted on Blue Sky. Oh, well, there you go. Siding with Russia has never helped anyone. Putin isn't negotiating. He wants our capitulation. Ukraine will remain strong. Now, of course, basically, again, what this all means is that Ukraine wants to continue the war to recapture eastern Ukraine. I don't know why. It's not like the Western Ukrainians, again, like the people in the East. Most of them speak Russian. Most of them identify with Russia. Most of them voted for the party, the pro-Russia party. So exactly like why they want the East back, I don't know, maybe it's the oil and gas, maybe it's, I don't know. But anyway. This was followed shortly afterwards by the announcement that the Trump administration had paused intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Now this is very, very significant. Pretty much all of the long-range missiles, all the air defense, tons and tons of stuff has been relying on US satellites. And, when they say intelligence sharing, basically what they mean is things like signals intelligence, satellite intelligence, not just, sort of like James Bond kind of like, overheard at a cocktail party that the ambassador said that, blah, 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 blah. No. So it is the US that maintains the huge global satellite network and, the GPS system and all this kind of other stuff. And by cutting this off, it has meant that Ukraine will no longer be able to use things like long-range Storm Shadow missiles and all that kind of like other stuff. And will probably also not get advance warning of things like Russian aircraft and all this kind of other stuff. And there have indeed been a couple of strikes already. Apparently a ship that was carrying UK arms got hit in the Black Sea, and also recently a hotel got hit that was full of 25 humanitarian volunteers from the UK. The Russians are basically saying, yeah, they weren't humanitarian volunteers, they were mercenaries. I don't know. But yes, the hotel got hit, and a bunch of them got killed. Although apparently they were doing a thing that has been sort of no-no since the start of the war, which is having mobile phones. If you are into this stuff long enough, you will remember the Redditors that bravely decided to go over to Ukraine and were posting photos of where they were with their fucking mobile phones on the internet, and then got a missile dropped on them. OPSEC. You got no OPSEC. So yes, we have taken a step, the Americans, we have taken a step back and are pausing and reviewing all aspects of this relationship. Now, I mean, this is sort of a crucial thing. The Americans have clearly decided that if the Ukrainians won't come to the negotiating table, they will have to be forced to the negotiating table, and that probably the easiest way to cut off arms from Europe is just to allow the Russians to destroy them en route, which I imagine the Russians are probably going to be doing with like all this new stuff that's going to be flying to Ukraine. The Russians have generally been very, very good at this. Like as soon as it crosses the border from Poland or whatever, they just drop a missile on it, which has resulted in the Ukrainians, being very, very creative and, using sort of ways to like smuggle stuff in. But I'm not sure that's going to work for things like planes and artillery. But anyway, excuse me. Sadio Sapiente, that's such a great photo. Yeah, it is. Vladimir, you're being very unreasonable. You're being very unreasonable. I don't think we can do business with you. I just don't see it. Let's see what else we got. Right. So the response from the Europeans has been to unveil a new 800 billion plan to rearm Europe. Oh, great. Imagine if they actually gave a fuck about the Europeans that much. Wow, we could help our people. No, we've got to have a war on the edge of Europe. Of course we do, because, why not, right? A 5-part plan to bolster Europe's defense industry and increase its military capability could raise nearly 800 billion euros and provide urgent military support for Ukraine after the US suspended aid to Kiev, the head of the European Commission has said. Ursula von der Leyen said on Tuesday that the EU would propose giving member states more fiscal space. That means they can borrow more money, by the way, is what that means, for defense investments, as well as 150 billion in loans for those investments, which means also printing more bonds, and would aim to mobilize private capital, which would presumably mean borrowing money from the private sector. Presenting the Rearm Europe package in Brussels, von der Leyen said, "This is a moment for Europe, and we are ready to step up." Oh God, couldn't you just fucking? Do we have to have a war? The proposals could mobilize 800 billion for a safe and resilient Europe. Some conspiracy theorists, notably the heads of government in countries like Hungary, full of racists, have said this is probably a power grab by the EU in order to cement the idea of joint borrowing, which is, has always been a bit sort of contentious, because countries like Germany that have a lot of fiscal responsibility don't want to be on the hook for debt that is run up by countries like, say, Greece and Italy, who are notoriously a bit more lax with their borrowing. But you're never going to get the United States of Europe unless you can issue United States of Europe bonds and make sure everyone is on the hook for paying them back, bro. So, yes, more military aid for Ukraine, I think we have... How the turntables turn, bros. In merely 3 years. Check this out.
Russian military is taking chips from dishwashers and refrigerators to fix their military hardware because there are no semiconductors anymore. Russia's industry is in tatters. Europe is ready to assume its responsibilities. Rearm Europe could mobilize close to 800 billion euros of defense expenditures for a safe and resilient Europe. We will, of course, continue working closely with our partners in NATO. This is a moment for Europe, and we are ready to step up.
Ursula! Frau Ursula! What happened nun? I thought that Russia was just a gas station, right? With like no army, no military. They were so desperate they were getting missile chips out of second-hand washing machines. Their economy was close to collapse. I remember it very well. It was in the papers. And everybody knows if you don't believe what the paper says, you're obviously a conspiracy theorist. What happened, bros? What happened, bros? Oh, God, it's so fucking painful. It makes me wonder whether they were like getting bad intelligence or whether they were just like lying through their teeth. Maybe 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Shortly after this announcement, of course, bond yields spiked across the EU, with an 8.5% jump in one day for Germany. France, these are the 10 years, by the way. 4.3% jump for France, 1.19% jump for the UK, 4.3% jump for Spain, and 3.6% jump for Italy in just one day, right? That is brutal. That is brutal. Don't worry, I'm sure they can just borrow more money, bros, right? Right. There is also the tiny little problem of my nuclear umbrella. France has been coming out very, we are not the cheese eating surrender monkeys at all. We have a nuclear weapon and we will perhaps threaten the US with it. Yeah, someone in, I think someone in France was basically like, perhaps, we will extend the French nuclear shield across the Ukraine. And the Americans are like, no, you don't do that, right? Like, fuck off, right? The realignment of the US in the name of, well, either peace or appeasing the Russians, depending on your point of view, has laid bare just how much of Europe's critical military infrastructure is reliant upon the US. For example, nukes, Great British nukes, the Trident system, the pride and joy of Britain. We might just be an island on the edge of Europe. We still have a nuclear arsenal, bros. It might fall into the hands of the Muslims, but that's fine. Apparently, they're already in a $50 billion plus 15 billion pound secret black hole. To recreate all the infrastructure without US support would be over $100 billion. Where are they going to get the money for that, bros? In 2016, we secured our independence from the EU, and this decade, we must secure it from the US. With what money? I mean, I'm just saying, it's not like the UK is terribly flush at the moment, bro. So apparently, the UK now basically relies upon vast Pentagon subsidies of money, material, and intellectual property, which gives Washington vast leverage over any British Prime Minister. Having to recreate all the infrastructure without US support would be over £100 billion. The odds of Starmer facing this openly and explaining how taxes will have to rise by vast amounts so we can bounce more Ukrainian rubble are close to zero. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. Look, I reckon they could raise taxes even more. Why not? Look, if there's one thing, right, that's like very clear about taxes, is you just keep raising them, right? Like more taxes equals more money. There's no such thing as a Laffer curve. It's not like there's diminishing returns as like people go broke or close down businesses or just prefer to be like poor so they don't have to pay fucking taxes. Just raise more taxes, bro. Just raise the taxes. Bloody hell. Oh yeah, so Ukrainian ambassador to the UK, Valery Zaluzhny, who is also tipped to possibly be the next Ukrainian president, is now a bit of a will they, won't they? They've started like thawing out people like Yulia Tymoshenko. Anyone remember her? Oh, mate, you have to be a bit of an old hat to remember old Yulia Tymoshenko. And Petro Poroshenko, the chocolate king, who was deposed in 2014. So Zaluzhny was at a Chatham House meeting in London. Now, I just want to point this out, that Chatham House meetings are off the record. So the fact that this got leaked means that Chatham House wanted this to be said, because if you leak anything from a Chatham House meeting, also known as the Royal Institute of International Affairs, if you're interested, then you're in big trouble and you will get a bit of a spanking. But he basically said the failure to qualify actions of Russia as an aggression is a huge challenge for the entire world and Europe in particular. Because we see it's not just the axis of evil and Russia trying to revise the world order, but the US is finally destroying that world order. The US is... This is a slightly stupid headline. This Sky News, everybody. But, look, if things keep going this way, it would be interesting to see, if they start saying the US is part of the axis of evil now. I don't know, bros. I don't know. So yes, this is... Apparently Trump and his allies have been holding secret talks. Well, they're not that secret if they're known about, obviously. Secret talks with Zelensky's political rivals. Oh my God. Everybody knows Ukraine is a perfect democracy, which is why they can't have elections and Zelensky must be dictator for life, because that's how democracy works. Ukrainian opposition leaders Yulia Tymoshenko and Petro Poroshenko have engaged with Trump's team while denying they support elections during wartime. I mean, look, if the Maidan coup is any indication, if the Americans want you to lead the country, they'll just lean on you until you do. Right? There's only a very, very small pool of people who could run opposite Zelensky, and I imagine if any of these people are like, nah, I don't really want to be shot in the face, the Americans will be like, well, we could shoot you in the face if you want. You know, yeehaw. Oh, bro. Four senior members of Donald Trump's inner circle have engaged in secret discussions. Well, how fucking secret are they then? With Ukrainian political opponents. According to a report published by Politico, the talks involved Yulia Tymoshenko and Petro Poroshenko, according to 3 Ukrainian parliamentarians and a US Republican foreign policy expert. Well, it wasn't that bloody secret then, was it? Let's see, anything else? So the US is making moves. The US is making moves, bro. They're like, you know, we got to get rid of Zelensky. He's becoming a bit problematic. Who are we going to replace him with, bros? It's got to be a democracy. Well, you know, who can we do business with, bro? Who can we do business with? Just to give you an idea of the kind of retardation that is still happening over here in the UK, Nigel Farage seems to be the only holdout in Parliament who is questioning the Ukraine war, and they did for him very, very quickly. Check this shit out.
President Zelensky has now accepted that he's going to sign the minerals agreement with America. And America's going to put in $100 billion or whatever it is, and thousands of Americans will be in Ukraine. Is that of itself enough of a security guarantee? No. Or does it mean that we need to send British troops? And if we do, given the size of our army, how many?
Perfectly reasonable question there by Nige. You know, is the mineral deals, which still hasn't been signed, by the way, right? I predicted this, right? Zelensky's going to be like, yes, I will sign a minerals deal for Ukraine because it will bring much piss raining from the sky. It's not going to happen. It's not. He's not going to fucking sign Amero Bros. He's just going to lead you on. He's like some. You know, some crazy tart who, you know, gives you the eye, but never puts out. But look at the response that he got from Parliament just for asking this question. He's like, you know, if it's not enough, will there be British troops? Did he get an answer? Hell no.
The mineral deal is not enough on its own. But can I just remind him, Russia is the aggressor. Zelensky is a war leader whose country has been invaded. And we should all be supporting him and not fawning over Putin.
Yeah! How many troops would we be sending if shit went pear-shaped? We must support Zelensky. Yay! It's safe and effective. Yay! Clap for the NHS. Yay! We're all retarded. Yay! Yep. So, you know, so the answer to any question is Zelensky now, right? Like, you know, is there a possibility British troops will be killed in Ukraine? Zelensky. Zelensky is now the cure-all answer for everything. Who the fuck is this dude? Ed Davey. I forget who this guy is. Wait, who is he? He's the leader of the Lib Dems. Great. Now, you might think that a blowjob this vigorous would be in danger of, severely injuring the neck of someone of such an advanced age, but he must be in training because look how masterfully he sucks off Zelensky.
We were all horrified by Friday's scenes in the Oval Office. President Trump's attack on the brave and dignified President Zelensky left everyone shocked and appalled, except, it seems, the honourable member for Clacton. Nobody else watching those scenes could fail to understand that we've entered a new era, one where the United States prefers to align itself with tyrants like Putin rather than its democratic partners. On these benches, we've supported the Prime Minister's actions and leadership. Britain leading the world, as we have so many times in the past, bringing together Europe and Canada in London to work towards a just peace that guarantees Ukraine's sovereignty and security. But, Mr. Speaker, we need to reduce our dependency on the United States. Because I say with deep regret, I fear that President Trump is not a reliable ally with respect to Russia. And with that regard, did the Prime Minister discuss with our European allies our proposals for a new rearmament bank and for seizing the tens of billions of pounds worth of Russian assets to support Ukraine? And in his conversations with the Canadian Prime Minister, was he clear that we stand with our Commonwealth ally in the face of President Trump's threats? Mr. Speaker, many of us were confused by Lord Mandelson's comments yesterday. So can the Prime Minister confirm that they do not represent government policy? And does he agree that the British ambassador should not be freelancing on American TV? Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister will have our support if the UK continues to lead with our European and Commonwealth allies for Ukraine's defence and our collective security.
Bloody hell. So yes, that's basically the way it's going over in the UK. But what are we going to do about net zero, bros? What are we going to do about net zero? We're trying to save the planet, bros. Like, what about the sustainable society? What about all that stuff? Well, it turns out that the government does have priorities after all. I saw this when it was originally launched, and about 6 hours later, there was a letter signed by 100 MPs. God, imagine my shock. Treat weapons investments as ethical to help arm Ukraine, and the UK urge MPs. 'Cause it turns out, right, that previously under ESG rules, weaponry was not regarded as an ethical investment. Oh, imagine my shock. Think of all the carbon emissions that all of those bombs are going to cause. I mean, yes, the human life, but mainly the carbon emissions, right? What about all those ESG-linked loans that we could be getting? Banks, investors, and pension funds should treat weapons manufacturers as ethical. Oh, yeah, by the way, I don't know if I've actually got this. No, I don't, right? It's just been announced as well that a bunch of UK pension money is going to be invested in arms companies. Mate, so, if they lose the war, and if all of those arms get destroyed, and those companies go bankrupt, they can't pay these loans back from the pension company, then they're fucked, right? But look, who cares? Who cares, right? Look, we destroyed the British Empire in order to take down Mustache Man. We must destroy what is left of the UK in order to take down Maputla. 69 MPs and 6 peers have signed an open letter calling for financial businesses to sweep away ill-considered anti-defense rules, which are acting as a barrier to doing what is right. All the other ESG crap that hurts normal people can stay, obviously, right? You'll still have to drive an electric car and all of that crap and pay higher taxes. But it's important the ESG rules around defense, around the defense companies, are modified. Yes. ESG rules adopted by some institutions have held back defense spending, echoing a long-standing gripe from weapons company bosses. Yeah, I imagine. Yes, here we go. No, there can be no more. There can be no more ethical investment than giving the Ukrainian people every ounce of support that can be mustered by their allies. Now, not mentioned in this, but in the original article I saw, they were basically saying that we can't have a sustainable world unless we back Ukraine, bros, right? Sustainability starts with war. Of course it does. Of course it does. I was wondering when the rubber was going to hit the road with net zero. It looks like it is starting, bros. So there you go. You're all caught up on that retardation. We're going to. I don't know. I mean, I just don't understand. It's going to take years and years in order for Europe to rearm. There's got to be some kind of peace in the meantime. I just don't know how this is going to work out. And even if they do, right, is the EU going to have their own GPS network? Are they going to try and replicate American military infrastructure? Are the Americans going to be cool with that? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Ukraine, Zelensky, right? Anyway, second story tonight. This is from G Prime, very, very good comic artist. Says Starmer, why are you sad, my friend? Says Zelensky, I have no more army men left to die for my country. Says Starmer, don't worry, I have plenty of men I can send to die for your country. Says random British person, and after we die, who will repopulate our country? Starmer says, don't worry, we have many, many Muslims and other migrants to look after your women whilst you are away on the front. Everything will be fine. Now, it was announced, I think this is actually from today, that new sentencing guidelines are coming out from the Sentencing Council, I believe they're called. What are they? Yes, the Sentencing Council. That will basically make it more likely for you to go to jail if you happen to be white and Christian. I mean, look, we've seen this a billion times before. It's just a long list of everyone, basically, who isn't white or Christian. Trans, of course, get a pass. Cultural minorities, whatever the fuck that is, probably means gay. Just everyone. Robert Jenrick, however, who I got to say, is probably the most competent person in Parliament at the moment. I know it's a pretty low bar, but I like what Jenrick's saying, was not pleased by this. And I got to point out, Jenrick has actually started talking about anti-whiteism in Parliament, right? It's finally happening, bros. It is breaking the wall of silence, the omerta. They're like, oh my God, this stuff is clearly anti-white based.
Sentencing guidelines that's been published alongside this statement, which will make a custodial sentence less likely for, and I quote, ethnic minorities, cultural minorities, and faith minority communities. Why is the Justice Secretary enshrining this double standard, this two-tier approach to sentencing? This is an inversion of the rule of law. We on this side of the House believe in equality under the law. Why doesn't she?
Mr. Jenrick, Christopher Carrion, Newsfist News. You people on your side of the House clearly do not believe in equality under the law because you did not repeal the Equalities Act. You bastards. But now you're in opposition. You're like, you didn't do shit while you're in power, did ya? Did ya? Anyway, I guess at least it's moving the zeitgeist somewhat. From the Sentencing Council, out today, significantly revised guidelines for imposition of community and custodial sentences. Our aim is to make sure courts have the most comprehensive information so they can impose a tailored sentence that is most appropriate for the offender and the offense. Yeah, this is all basically a bunch of doublespeak. What does it really come down to? This is what it comes down to. When you are in court for a crime and you are being considered for a custodial sentence, which generally means that you have committed a crime which will net you more than 2 years in jail, there is a possibility that you will get what is known as a PSR, or a pre-sentencing report. This is the point at which basically you can put all of your grievances in and be like, oh, look, you can't put me into jail. I'm trans, I'm gay, I'm a minority. No. You better give me community service instead. And they're basically saying, look, it's important that we have, pre-sentencing reports for females, just anyone female. I don't know if that includes the trans, probably. From an ethnic minority, a cultural minority, and or faith minority community. Now, technically, you could argue that certain branches of Christianity are faith minority communities, but obviously that's not what it means. It means basically, anyone but whites, basically. And if you're pregnant or postnatal, I don't really have a problem with that. And the sole or primary carer for dependent relatives. I mean, that sort of makes sense. You may also be, so this is the thing, if you get a pre-sentencing report, you're less likely to actually go to jail, right? This is what this is sort of about. Additionally, you are more likely to get one if you have disclosed you are transgender, if you have any addiction issues, chronic medical condition or physical disability, or mental health, learning disabilities, including neurodiverse conditions or brain injury damage, and if you've been the victim of any abuse, modern slavery or trafficking, or coercion, grooming, imitation, intimidation, or exploitation. So I imagine any migrant who comes before the court will be able to like hit a bunch of these, basically saying, oh, you know, I was trafficked across the ocean, you know, to come to the UK. I didn't want to, right? Like, whatever. So, who is the Sentencing Council? I bet you've never heard of it. I've never fucking heard of it before. It's a quango, bros. It's an NGO. The British basically pioneered NGOs by making the first NGOs inside of government. They're independent organizations, don't you know? Because government can't be trusted to make these kind of decisions, so they are spun off into these little independent quangos. A quango is a quasi-autonomous non-government entity. Quango. Set up in April 2010 to promote greater transparency and consistency in sentencing while maintaining the independence of the judiciary. Remember, every single time they tell you a part of the government is independent, that just means it's not controlled by the people that you elected. Much of the UK government, in fact, much like the US government, well, before Trump got in there, is not really being run by the government, and more parts of it are being hived off into bodies like this. Arm's length bodies is what they're called. Oh, I love that. They have the responsibility for developing sentencing guidelines and monitoring their use, assessing the impact of guidelines on sentencing practice, promoting awareness among the public regarding the realities of sentencing, and they must consider the impact of victims, monitor the applications of the guidelines. And wait. It basically says that judges have to listen to it. Where is it? It does actually say here. Judicial appointments are made. Where the hell does it say this? It does definitely say this somewhere. Basically, they've got to follow, the courts have to follow its recommendations. Yes. Oh, come on. It was definitely here somewhere. Come on. Oh well, anyway. It was in there somewhere where I found it. Don't know. It was definitely one of the things. Now, the current Justice Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, of course, from the Worcestershire Mahmoods, a long and cultural history in the UK, was very, very upset by this. She's like, despite being an ethnic minority myself, I absolutely reject this. She wrote to the Sentencing Council, she wrote a letter, bros. She wrote a letter to express her strong opposition to these newly published guidelines, which recommend different treatment based on ethnicity, culture, and faith. The new guidance came out from a consultation carried out under the previous Conservative government. This is a fucking lie, by the way. They approved the guidelines at a minuted meeting on the 24th of January. So, no. They're just trying to blame the previous government. The Sentencing Council is independent, meaning that she can't influence it. We did not approve this guideline. Well, of course you didn't. It's an independent body, right? She has asked the Sentencing Council to reconsider this guidance urgently. Oh, well, there you go. Well, she's going to ask. But the whole point is that it's meant to be an independent body, so government is not supposed to be able to influence it. She has called for it to be reversed, bro. Called for it to be reversed, but you can't. Shabana Mahmood has written to the Sentencing Council urging them to change course, but a government source confirms this morning that she cannot order them to do so because they're an independent body. So on April 1st, a new sentencing regime will take effect, which the Lord Chancellor herself has described as a two-tier sentencing approach. This seems to be massively significant, which of course it is. Robert Jenrick has basically said he's going to start a lawsuit on this. He has already engaged a Queen's Counsel, and he's going to fight this. I don't know how long the court case is going to happen. Anyway, this whole shit starts on April 1st. So, awesome. Yay! I guess, now would be a good time to, be trans or get a mental health diagnosis or perhaps a drug addiction or, get abused by some people, get stabbed up, anything really that you can use to basically say, I wasn't in my right mind when I posted that spicy meme. Your Honor, I was, trans and smoking crack and all that kind of other stuff. And, I'm I don't know, say you're a Muslim or something, it'll be fine.
President Zelensky has now accepted that he's going to sign the minerals agreement with America. And America's going to put in 100 billion or whatever it is, and thousands of Americans will be in Ukraine.
Thanks very much, Twitter, for just like randomly playing some shit while I'm on stream. Oh, gay. Right, so our final story of the night. Oh, running a bit early. Anyway. Oh yeah, so I did want to actually point about this, that Jenrick did actually talk about, he did actually use the phrase anti-white. Let me find his Twitter thing. I didn't have it up here. My brain's already on vacation, I'm afraid, bros. So I'm a bit crap tonight. Right, here we go. Robert Jenrick. Right, here we go. Yeah, where is it? Come on. It's here somewhere. He definitely used the phrase anti-white. Where the hell is it? Here we go. Under new sentencing rules, there is blatant discrimination against straight white men. Here it is in black and white. Where was the thing we actually used the term anti-white? I know it was in here somewhere. Here we go. Under two-tier care, that's exactly what is happening. It is completely outrageous. This would enshrine an anti-white and anti-Christian bias in our criminal justice system. We did it, bros. Yes, we have finally made an impact. I'm sure it's basically down to me and her. It's the only reason Robert Jenrick's probably secretly watching this show. It's probably his guilty pleasure. Thanks very much for watching, Robert. Send a super chat. Oh my god, I forgot to chill for super chats. I don't even know actually if I've gotten any entropies at all, as a matter of fact. Have we? No. Please donate to the channel. Give me some final monies before I go off on vacation. I promise to spend them on a nice, tasty lager to soothe my jangled nerves. I do not have the awesome Zim clip, unfortunately, but Earth Monies. I need Earth Monies to appear as normal Earth pigs and buy normal Earth pints. Very, very much appreciate your support. Thank you very much. Right, let's get on to our final story of the night. It's a very, very weird one, this. Very, very, very weird. So this is from 21st Century Wire. Report exploring... Oh, no, wait. We got a super chat. Woo! See, the shilling works, right? Let me see. A nice dancing girl there. Mikey Bikey for $5. Tasty lager fund. Thank you very much, Mikey Bikey. I shall raise a glass to you, my friend. Have a nice hot dancing girl. She really likes people who send super chats. I happen to know her, and she has said that it's actually her secret fantasy that guys that send super chats really, really turn her on, bro. So if you want to get to know anime dancing girl a little bit better, you know what it is that turns her on, right? So report exploring the potential of US ownership of Nord Stream 2. Oh, and Simon JJ. Let's see. Oh, where's the love heart? For $15. God, thank you so much, Simon. This should get your nails done at the spa. Thank you very much. I don't know. I was thinking of going for like the sort of like long sort of Shaniqua ones with like the diamantes and stuff. So I can like barely type. Right, it shows like a status symbol that I don't do any heavy work. Please, chat, if you've got any suggestions for the kind of nails that I should get, please let me know. I'm going to have a bit of a mani-pedi. It'll be delightful. Thank you very much, Simon JJ. I appreciate that, bro. Now, this is basically a report on a bunch of stuff that has come out in the German media, right? It's not really being reported on in the Western media. This is why I like 21st Century Wire. They're pretty good. They do like research in other countries. They're pretty good. So on March 3rd, a Bild Investigationung revealed. So Bild is a German newspaper. Revealed that Russia and the US have held secret talks in Switzerland on resuming gas flows to Germany via the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. As I said in the opener, only one of the Nord Stream pipelines was blown up, Nord Stream A. Nord Stream B is still basically fine and could be turned on at any moment. It's still even full of gas, right? All they'd have to do is turn the bloody thing on, and Germany would have cheap Russian gas, which of course they cannot do because Putla you'd be giving in Putla. Yeah, so just deindustrialize your entire country instead, right? I mean, you just blew up all of your like nuclear reactors. This is like, did you know that like people who believe in conspiracy theories often, you know, have problems? Yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying. Or you could say that Germany being persuaded to blow up all their nuclear reactors literally just before their oil pipeline gets destroyed. You know, I mean, it's probably a conspiracy. It's probably just coincidence, bros, right? Nothing is planned, right? No, God. And I know some of you are probably believing in conspiracy theories as well. Have you considered going to therapy? Have you considered it's because you're poor or because you're dissatisfied with life? Oh, I got another entropy. $5 from Stumbling for another pint. Thank you very much, Stumbling Sar. I really, really appreciate that, mate. Mate, I'm gonna be having some pints after tonight. I gotta do my last show. I'm gonna like sit down by the sea, nice pint. I'm just gonna be like, not gonna have to think about the news for like, and then knowing me, after a week, I'll start jonesing and I'll be like, I haven't reported the news. Haven't reported the news, bro. And the wife will be like, let it go. I'll be like, no, I can't let it go. What's the next chapter in the insane fuck up that is happening to the West? Yeah. Anyway, thank you very, very much, Stumbling. Right, so apparently there were secret talks in Switzerland. Again, if they're secret, how did Bill get a hold of them, right? There's a lot of secret stuff coming out, right? I'm just saying, right? Like, you need better OPSEC. On resuming gas flows to Germany via the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. The Swiss operator of Nord Stream 2 and various Russia-based entities linked to the $11 billion pipeline are currently under US sanctions, but probably not for much longer. Ongoing US-Russia discussions about resuming the pipeline are seen as part of President Trump's efforts to improve relations with Russia. But of course, the Europeans are like, no, we cannot have a functioning country. We need to build more solar panels and buy them from China because it's so fucking stupid. It's fine. The significant debt of Nord Stream 2 AG, which is the Swiss company that owns the Nord Stream pipelines, is well acknowledged, and there is a possibility that the court in Zug, not Zog, Zug, in Switzerland, could force the company into bankruptcy, because of course, they can't make any money because they're basically like sanctioned, right? If this happens, the court may require a public auction of the company's assets, basically Nord Stream A and B. Well, yeah, Nord Stream A has been destroyed, so... However, the current bankruptcy proceedings could also offer a potential opportunity for Nord Stream 2 AG to negotiate a settlement with its creditors. Now, this is where it starts getting like, really, really weird. Wait. We got another entropy from MK. MK. Nice to see it. $20. God, thank you so much, man. Man, that's like a few pints. Thank you so much, mate. Have a great vacation. Thanks for the shows. Thank you very much, MK. I really, really appreciate that, mate. It's good to see you on coming on Odyssey. Thank you so much, bros. Wait, I gotta turn off the Dancing Girl. Dancing Girl also says she finds that very, very hot. MK, she's giving you the eye. She's like, ooh, flashing my panties. Right. So this is where it starts getting complicated, right? The diplomatic rapprochement between the USA and Russia could have consequences for Germany's energy supply. Does Germany even have an energy supply anymore? I thought they were basically running their entire energy grid off just calling people Nazis at this point, right? It is kind of like clean energy, if you don't mind the social fallout. According to consistent media reports, there are already several Americans interested in buying the Nord Stream 2 Baltic Sea pipeline. If these plans were to be implemented, Russian pipeline gas would come to Germany again, but the Americans would sell it. The Americans basically about to pull Ukraine up in this bitch. Well, they'll just basically sit between the the producer and the receiver and just take a fat percentage, and then of course they'll be able to control Europe at any point and just being like, looks like we got to raise your gas prices again, Germany. You shouldn't have gone to war with the Ruskies now. And the Germans will be like, but you were the ones who told us to go to war with the Ruskies. Yeah, well. Should have listened to Henry Kissinger, remember? Being our friend is deadly. So fucking crazy, right? It's not just about a lot of money, but it's also about power. Power! Germany's catastrophic diplomacy towards Russia has brought us into this precarious situation, but there is still a way out of the misery. Germany would have to take control and put the pipeline back into operation under its own direction. However, it is doubtful whether the political will to do so exists. Yes, they would have to basically climb down and revoke the sanctions against Russia. And then everyone would be like, wait, you just crashed the entire country literally for no reason. Mind you, Germany has just had a change of government, so I guess if it was ever to happen, now might be the time. In January, shortly before Trump took office, the Nachdenkzeitung, I presume that's some Swiss paper, Nachdenk, yeah, right, reported in detail on the latest developments regarding the future of the two pipelines, Nord Stream 1 and 2. I thought it was Nord Stream A and B. Whatever. At the time, we speculated that takeover plans of US investor Stephen P. Lynch were perhaps not about putting Nord Stream 2 back in operation, but rather about preventing it from being put back in operation. At the time, no one would have seriously expected that Donald Trump would start diplomatic negotiations with Russia at a breathtaking speed, seek to normalize relations, and that the EU, like a giant tanker at full speed, would either not be able or unwilling to turn the wheel and would continue on its hostile course towards Russia. This could be a strategic decision. Right, so basically, to give you an idea, this is very, very detailed, right? But essentially, right, the Germans have to certify the pipeline to make it work, and then there is who basically owns it, right? So the Swiss company is a wholly owned subsidiary of Gazprom, right? Everyone knows who Gazprom is, right? Instead of investing in Nord Stream, the European partners have contributed their participation in the pipeline project in the form of loans. So Nord Stream 2 AG owes about 9.5 billion euros to a bunch of these European energy companies, which are Uniper, OMV in Austria, Uniper is in Germany, I think, ENGIE, the French company, Wintershall DEA, formerly German, sold to the British, and Shell, of course, which is British, right? Now, all of these companies basically have claim on the unpaid loans from the Swiss company. And if they can't reach a solution, then essentially it's going to have to go bankrupt. And if it goes bankrupt, it's going to get sold. And who is likely to buy? Well, the Americans, of course, are just, the meme with the hand rubbing guy, the black guy behind the tree being like, mate, I can't wait for this to come around. It's crazy. It's crazy, mate. So the question basically is, will the German political class have enough sort of political will to stop this insane situation? If the Swiss AG goes bankrupt and the Americans buy it up, then the Germans will be able to buy Russian gas without buying it directly from the Russians, but the Americans are probably going to charge them an extra 50% because the Americans also want the Germans to buy their liquefied natural gas. I mean, the Americans might just decide to just shut it off. They might decide they're making more money by not running the pipeline than by having it running. So this has already been extended, by the way, right? The bankruptcy auction. But the last extension granted by the cantonal court in Zug expires at the end of May. If no agreement is reached by then, the pipes will be auctioned off. Bruh. So there you go. There you go. This has been, the day in clown world. War, higher energy prices, and more anti-white legal bullshit. Tasty. It's that, the flavor of Europe right there. What's this? Oh, yes, right, we already did that one. Okay, so now you're all caught up, bros. It's time for a bit of cringe. I know how much you love the cringe, bros. Let's see, what have we got on the menu of cringe tonight? Someone made this for me. I forget who it was. Was it Teabag and Therapist? No, someone made made this cringe meme for me. Oh, I think it was Captain Crisps, actually. Crisps, did you make this? Fierce posted cringe again. I unsubscribed already. Well, even unsubscribing will not help you from the deluge of cringe, I'm afraid, bros. Right, let's get on with it. Now, we start off with, oh my God. So, mate, politics in America is just crazy. The Democrats are fast moving through the 5 stages of grief, which is what, like, denial, anger, bargaining. I think they're approaching acceptance. Trump did like a speech in front of Congress, and they just all sat there with these like little signs, look like they're like at a sorrow auction or something. Very, very weird.
Did weaponize government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good. Ended weaponized government where, as an example.
So yes, as you can see, they've got these little signs. Musk steals, false. Oh my God. It's like, any of you remember the trial of Darrell Brooks, the Waukesha car killer who, basically got banished from the courtroom because he was such a retard and he was just kept like holding like pieces of paper up. This is what they've been reduced to, basically, at this point. Trump basically came out and he's like, look, there's nothing that can be done to please the Democrats. He's right. I think it was Monero who was basically saying that this is a moral decoupling, the point at which you just stop giving a fuck, right? Like what your opponents think, because they have demonstrated that nothing you can do is going to impress them. It's an impossible task.
This is my 5th such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way.
Oh, but it do be that way. It do be like that. People don't think it do be like that, but it do, bro. I found this. I think this is from like RT. So everyone knows Zelensky used to be a comedian. Here's a skit he did about paying loans, Ukraine paying loans back from the EU. Relevant.
Скоро Европа начнет требовать у нас кредиты обратно, правильно? Правильно. Стране как никогда будет необходим человек, который сможет 5 лет разнообразно и интересно отшучиваться. А не как сейчас. Вас плохо слышно. Извините, перезвоните позже. Нет. Вы только представьте. Звонит Меркель. Hello, Владимир. Владимир, а когда вы вернете кредит? Так его надо было отдавать. Ха. Простите, фрау Меркель, мы просто не знали правила этой игры. Давайте в следующий раз так поступим, я вам обещаю.
Yeah. I didn't realize we had to pay it back. I thought this was Gibbs for piss. You realize my piss is very, very expensive. I tried to sell on OnlyFans. Oh my God. So the Dems, the US Dems, I probably should have put this one before the Ukraine one, have just descended into the most weird sort of wilderness. I presume the only people basically doing PR for them now are just, complete and utter retards. Look at this. I just don't even know what to say about this. So they're trying to emulate like a fighting game like Street Fighter or something like that. Except of course they're all women. Jesus Christ. Yeah, now that is proper cringe. I think that takes the cake for the cringe. One of those people, I believe, was she in the previous one? Anyway, this is Alana Presley. She's strong. She's black. Yo, wait, I don't think I've actually got my end sticker on this, unfortunately. Because I'm using an old version of OBS. But check this out.
Objection, so ordered. We put it in the record.
I haven't entered it.
You have what?
Mr. Chair, can I have several articles. I need to enter them. Let me just go ahead with what the articles are. What they speak to.
What's the next article?
Let me proceed. Data from Texas shows that U.S.-born Americans
that
commit
not,
more rape and murder than immigrants.
Listen, this trend of you all trying to get thrown out of committee so you can get on MSNBC is going to end. We're not going to put up with it.
This is my procedural right as a member of this committee
you can
to
go,
enter documents
you can go with
into the
Mr.
record.
Frost and Mr.
I'm
Green.
reclaiming my time.
That's
you
what
do
you
not
want.
Get to
No.
Ms.
Presley, I've been very accommodating
record.
to you. Mr. Subrignon,
And I take particular umbrage as a survivor of sexual violence. I will enter into the record. This is my right. Thank you.
No. It is Mr. Subrignon.
Mr. Chair?
No, you know the process of unanimous consent. You are not recognized.
I have several articles to enter into the record.
Mr. Subrignon, if you don't go, we're going to recognize Mr. Timmons.
Goddamn white man trying to keep a black woman down. Oh my God. I haven't seen such an incredible political defeat in ages. The Dems are just completely like fucked. Right, we got some funny videos for you now. A lot of these were from Sede Sapiente and a bunch more were from Texas Man's channel, USDA Prime Memes. He's not here, but I recommend you check his channel out. It's pretty awesome. If you're listening to this later, Texas Man, I hope you're well, buddy.
This is the extraordinary story of the faraway people. They set sail from the faraway lands and headed for the land of milk and honey. When they arrived, they were welcomed by the toolmaker's son and his regime as new voters. They were taken straight to their temporary accommodation and felt safe and warm. The home people struggled, and the old people went cold to help pay for them. This made the home people very angry, but the toolmaker's son didn't care. The faraway people enjoyed their new home and wanted to make new friends at the park. The poor little ginger girl said she would need to build more houses for the faraway people. The faraway people loved their new homes and brought their traditions with them. The girl from accounts said the farmers would also have to pay for the faraway people. This made the farmers very angry, but the toolmaker's son didn't care. There were some issues with the faraway people and their cultures. The faraway people didn't like the home people very much, even the ones born here. This made the home people very angry, and they protested in the streets. But the toolmaker's son blamed them and put them in jail instead. He put some of them in jail for mean words as well. The home people couldn't believe what had happened to their homeland and wondered what would be next.
Right, just saying goodbye, people in the chat. Yeah, this is I forget the people on Twitter that made this. I think it's called Faraway People Productions. It's really good. He did a bunch of these. Right, I know it's depressing. Right, this is a bit funnier.
As Ukrainian president, my first priority is Ukraine.
Yeah! Woo! Hero!
As president of the United States of America, my first priority is the United States of America.
Goddamn racist! This is pretty funny.
What's the most down bad you've ever been in your life?
Ooh, last year I got cheated on, and then I tried to chase him back, but he was the most unpleasant white boy I've ever had.
You got him back, and then what happened?
He cheated on me again.
White boys are off the table. You would not recommend them.
White boys? I'm dating a white boy right now.
me?
Okay.
Well, what's your type?
What?
White boy summer, bros. She got that white fever. Can't help herself. Right, I got a bunch of like random stuff from Telegram for you.
I'll send him an ultimatum.
I don't remember that being in the original cartoon. Right, what's this?
Want to write a letter to President Clinton? Would he answer us? I bet he would.
I bet he would. I bet he would. This is pretty funny.
I learned a lot about women. I think I learned exactly how the fall of man occurred in the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, and Adam said one day, wow, Eve, here we are at one with nature, at one with God. We'll never age, we'll never die. And all our dreams come true the instant that we have them. And Eve said, yeah, it's just not enough, is it?
No, that's not funny.
I was just waiting for more.
No, that was kind of his point.
Oh, God.
That's kind of what he was saying.
I mean,
bruh.
Seriously, if you just tell me whose this is, I'm not going to be upset.
It's yours. I'm telling you. There's
It's
no
not
other girl
mine.
Just tell me who it is. I promise I won't be angry. Right. This is good.
This is a day in the life of our parents in their youth. I wake up at 5 a.m. and immediately get hit with a boot. That's what I get for sleeping in. At 5:30, my 6 brothers and I do our daily chores. Hey, a little elbow grease never hurt anyone. Except my little brother, Timmy. At 8 a.m., I show up to my job that starts at 8 a.m. I get a boot thrown at me for not being on time. If you're not early, you're late. For the next 5 hours, I do character building hard work that I'll appreciate one day. After that, I rush home after work so I can do more chores. Yes! It's an honor and a privilege to help my parents around the house. They're the best.
Mike, you dumb idiot! Clockwise! Yes, father!
He remembered my name. I will cherish this memory forever. At 5 p.m., my brother gets new clothes. I've never seen these before. This begins the endless cycle of frugality. Clothes weren't purchased, they were given. At 6 p.m., I get stuck in rush hour traffic trying to use the bathroom. After that, I daydream about having a 15-minute break. I get hit with a boot. My parents can't afford a penny for my thoughts right now. At 9 p.m., I get hit with a boot for no reason. My dad said life isn't fair and get used to it. At 10 p.m., it's bedtime. Another relaxing Sunday. But tomorrow, the real work begins. And that's my day.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Oh yeah, this is just really weird. Man, that is so cool. Oh, bro. Right, cute animal videos for you now. Enjoy. What else do we got? More TV watching husky. I love this dog. So according to 007, that Action Cats thing was a Saturday Night Live skit. I wanted to believe, bros. I wanted to believe. I don't know why no one made that, right? Cute kitties. What else do we got? Stripper with cat. It thinks it's people, bros. Just doesn't know what kind of people. I think these are Lemures.
I'm going down to the railway station, gonna get a ticket to ride. Find a big fat lady.
They look very relaxed. This is so cute. I did not know that puppies liked asparagus. And our final cute animal video of the night, just a nice, heartwarming kitty. Aww. And that's the end of the show. Thank you so much for coming, bros. As I said, I will be off for 2 weeks, so I'll be back on the CDs. When am I back? Two more weeks, bros. Wait, where's the 2 more weeks sign? However, I will be on Gulag Cafe tonight. We will be talking about international relations liberalism versus international relations realism, and the rules-based international order. It's going to be a pretty loose stream. Hope you can come along to that. Let's have a quick goodbye to everyone in the chat. Ardent Party. Oh, good to see you, Ardent. Total Blackout Painting. Good to see you too, mate. Ivan the Horrible. Edie Wolf. Sadie Sapiente, of course. Who else is on Rumble? Mikey Bikey. Good to see you. Thank you for the super chat, Mikey. Livia Drusilla. Wyatt's Torch. Good to see you, mate. Yiz has gone. Is that everybody on Rumble? I don't want to miss anyone. Fox39 Forever. Good to see you, Fox. Highland Full. Good to see you too, mate. Let me see. Is that everybody? I think that's everybody on Rumble. Oh, Proper Pictures. Good to see you, mate. I haven't seen you in a while, dude. Hope you're well. I think that's everybody on Rumble. On YouTube, we have Victorian Time Traveller, Robert Verlinden, Jay Bishop, 007, Streaky Bacon, Simon JJ. Thank you for the super chat, mate. Really appreciate that. Stumbling, thank you also for the super chat. Otto Stormheart, LLLL, Anti-Whiteism ends with you. 007, Sar, Streaky Bacon. Let me see, is that everybody? I think that's everybody on YouTube. Oh, Kunstler Kenneth Krieg. Good to see you, mate. Linda Hunter. Full Short. I think he's gone. I think that's everybody. And on Odyssey, MK. Thank you so much for the super chat, MK. I really, really appreciate that, mate. Machine for Baked Beans was on here as well. Who else? I've run out of scroll space on Odyssey. So for anyone else, thank you so much for coming, everybody. I will see you in a couple of weeks or see you on Gulag Cafe tonight. Have an excellent week. And, hopefully Armageddon will not break out in the next 2 weeks because, how is anyone supposed to survive without my hot takes on the random news, bros? Yeah. Anyway, see you later, bros. Good night.